whole T-shirt for those
Oh,
watching
sure.
on you. So it's slap your local racist, okay,
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
local because you can reach them and slap them because there's a lot of them that we want to slap around. Tell me about the origins of that shirt.
Yeah, so this short shirt was created by this social media account called America Hates Us, and
Oh.
they've actually like really blown up with like messages like this. In fact, I think the newest one is they did in collaboration with No White Saviors, which is another social media account, and
Mm.
there says like slap your, I think it's like slap your local colonizer. Um, so yeah, they just put out like just just kind of blunt messages that are challenging racism and bigotry. Like they have another one, a T-shirt that says "Trust women" or "Believe women" is what it says. So it's just like really, just social justice oriented messages.
Yeah, I'm gonna look the No White Saviors up.
So if my understanding from my reading was that rap came, my understanding from my reading is that hip hop culturally was about, tried to serve as a mouthpiece for the oppressed in society. Is that right? Because rap, as you said, doesn't aspire to that. Does hip hop? It started as that. Is it still like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, hip hop has always been like dedicated to liberation of oppressed people, like everywhere. Like that's the beautiful thing about it is that it's a global phenomenon. Like folks like all over the world, have used like hip hop as a tool to like organize and to like uplift communities. And again, like rap is just like, if anything, it's more of like a component of, or can be seen as a component of like hip hop, which is like the culture, right? Because like rap could be like synonymous with like the aspect of like MCing, like, because you'll say like, who's your favorite rapper or MC? Like those are kind of interchangeable. So I guess I like spend less time trying to like maybe distinguish between rap and hip hop, but more like hip hop that is authentic and that is like rooted in community versus individualism, which like a lot of corporate, rap or hip hop, that's what that promotes.
So you want to separate the hip hop and rap that is basically about consumerism, as I think I heard you say it, booties and violence, and the hip hop that has a more empowering message.
Right. And I mean, the reality too is like hip hop can also be like fun loving, right? It's like it could be about like, I don't know, being at a party or having fun, but like not at the detriment of others, obviously, right?
Right.
So and that's like the glaring, I mean, too, like there's a lot of like underground hip hop or independent hip hop that has like these very same oppressive messages. But I guess like that's where things get muddled because ultimately, like, whether it's an artist who is about like glorifying like what they're wearing or what they're buying versus like an artist who, like the ones that I promote that are like about like health and wellness, like they're still kind of under the umbrella of like hip hop or are considered rappers, and so I don't know, like we could go on and on all day about like who's deemed like a rapper versus who's like a hip hop artist, or because they're pretty interchangeable, like depending on who you talk to.
Well, you have taken a holistic anti-oppression approach by finding the vegan hip hop movement. So instead of just not oppressing all Homo sapiens, it's all who live on planet Earth. What is the vegan hip hop movement?
Yeah. So yeah, the vegan hip hop movement that came about like in 2006 when I lived in Portland, where like kind of what I was hearing in the conversation between the two of you earlier, just like I had turned vegan like shortly after I moved to Portland from the Bay Area in 2004, and Portland was like the perfect place to be, given that it was like at the time, according to PETA, like the most vegan friendly city in the US. But it was also like the whitest major city in the US. And it was something that I don't know, was like, it was twofold. Like I was excited to again be vegan there and have access to like a plethora of vegan options. But then when I found like I was like gravitating towards like animal rights events and whatnot, and they were just like exclusively white, it was just like it was challenging, and I was like bumping up against that sort of like that just like that entitlement or that ignorance, that belief that because we're vegan, like we are like compassionate or cruelty free, but not recognizing like unearned privilege and just like perpetuating, you know, the same oppression that I don't know that they claim to like not be, you know, perpetuating.
Actually, you know,
And so,
Kevin,
go ahead, sorry.
Sorry to interrupt, but when I read you say something like that, it really clicked with me. I had not, I don't think I'd quite made the connection as strongly that I'd seen the whiteness of the animal rights movement in the last 6 months. But when you said that we used our veganism as a pass in a way, that we didn't need to look at other issues because we were taking on veganism, that really made me think. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, it was, I guess to like speak to that and just deviate from like the vegan hip hop movement formation a little bit. Like that was something that I just like experienced like all over. Like I lived in Seattle for a while, and then around that time I went to an animal rights convergence in Norway, and this was like 2009 or so, and it was just like consistently, it was just like they were like hyper white spaces, and if anything there were just like very few like people of color like in attendance. And I remember like one of the most like glaring examples of like this like idea of like getting a pass because you're vegan and you happen to be white. I went to see the screening of the film Bold Native. Do you remember that movie?
Yes, Nick is in Bold Native.
Oh,
Yeah,
I haven't seen it. I have to write that down.
Yeah, and so they were screening that in Seattle, and like there were two directors, and they were both white. The guy, of course, like he straight up said like because he's like vegan now, like racism and sexism are kind of like a thing of the past because he like adopted like a compassionate lifestyle like for the sake of animals, and it was just so offensive and just so naive, and I had to like address that. It was during the Q&A when he was talking about this, and I let him know like how like flawed that idea is, you know, and spoke to like how I'm like the only person, like damn near the only person in this like full like space that is of color, you know, and we kind of went back and forth, but like I think it was like his partner, like the other director, like I think she kind of checked him. I don't remember that exactly, but
yeah. I think that I'm not surprised that not because I don't know that gentleman you're talking about, but I'm not surprised that would happen.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for tuning in today. If we helped you in any way, then click the subscribe button and let's keep hanging out together. We have so much more to share with you.
And if you need more information on actually making the switch for good, please visit us at switchforgood.org for loads of info, and you can subscribe to our mailing list where you will receive all sorts of super cool gifts, discount codes to our very fave dairy-free products, and a lifetime of powerful health tips.
So join us on the journey to switch for good. This is the future.